Hello and welcome to GG Weekend. Watch with myself, Kate Tracy, alongside Dave Young and Andrew Mount to look forward to the action at Ascot and Newmarket this weekend. Of course, we have the small matter of Longchamp as well. So whether or not the lads want to direct us there, we will wait to see. But we did have a good week last week with 2 winners from the 6 races, including Dave's nap. In the 150 at Newmarket, that was Bo Echo, 85-40 winner as Dave's nap. In the 225 at Newmarket, Andrew had Havana Hurricane, who at 13-2 finished second. Dave had True Love, who won at 2-1, was really well back before the off as well. 315 at Haydock, Dave had First Ambition, who finished second at 6-1. And in the 340 at Newmarket, Dave had Cash. Non-runner goes to the Balmoral. So there you go. Nicely done, lads. Right, on to this weekend's action now. As I say, we're heading back to Newmarket again. It's that time of year where we just feel like we never leave Newmarket. But we're going to kickstart at Ascot with the 115, the listed October stakes, 3-year-olds and over the 7 furlongs. Mr. Matt, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, why not? We're starting at Ascot. A lot of rain forecast as well. I think they're calling it good at the moment, but it could be a lot softer, and because we've got the tail end of storm, whatchamacallit, so the wind could have quite a say as well. I thought the key race was to this 7 furlong listed contest was a 7 furlong Group 3, the Scepter Filly Stakes, won by Fair Angelica at Doncaster in the middle of last month, I should say. They paid to be on the front end that day, and it was very hard on soft ground for anything to come from off the pace. Now, 5th in that race was Miss Nightfall from the James Fanshawe yard, who did best at the closers, did well to only go down by 2.5 lengths, so she's high on the list. And there's a couple more who also ran okay against the pace bias that day. A roller, who was 7th at 25-1, again under a patient ride, and Sunfall, who was 40-1. Kept on down the near side to finish in mid-division in 9th place. Now, because Sunfall won this last year, and it looks to have been the target again, I thought she could run a race here. So I'll go for her over Miss Nightfall and a roller. But I like that Doncaster form, and I think I'll be perming those 3 in combination forecast as well.
Yeah, we've got enough runners to go, haven't we? 16 runners in this opening contest as well. So good, different ways to play this from this amount. Dave, over to you.
Yeah, Andrew's kicked off the 10 races with a combination forecast possible tricast there, so no pressure for me to try and find something there. It's a good race. He's mentioned Sunfall that won the race last year. Plausible that this has been sort of a bit of a plan for the new trainer, but I still think it requires a bit of a leap of faith to believe that she could win this, for all that she definitely could. Big enough prices, but didn't she? 20-1 at the time of recording, so you don't have to back too many of them, or don't have to get too many of them that win to get a few quid back. Kieran Fallon did ride Sunfall last time. He stays with the William Haggis runner this time, Nardra. He's significantly up in class, running a couple of class 5 races, I think, or a few races. But she was sent off at 11-4 for steps up significantly in class now from the last race, was a class 5, but before that was sent off 11-4 for a Group 3 back in April. Now she's had big gaps in between her races. I think it was maybe September last year she first ran, then it was April, and then we've waited until August to run again, and now she's waiting until October. So that's a bit of a concern, whether she's just a niggly type that's not one that you can really get sorted for this. But William Haggis has won this race a couple of times from the last 5 renewals as well. She's only got those 3 runs under her belt, but she's already achieved enough to get an official rating of 94. She's a 3-year-old, so she gets a bit of weight for age from like the elders. So I think she's got a bit of a chance. Looks like a scrappy enough race, and probably a competitive one where you can make a case for quite a few of them. I think cajole the first string of the Cheveley Park horses compared to Sunway. I'm not sure the ground will suit her, but we need to see how much rain does fall. Bright Thunder is 0 from 2 at 7 furlongs, but both those defeats have come within half a length. Does handle ease in the ground, which probably is essential this weekend. But I don't know. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge or on the track over the next couple of days, and I think the safest option at this point is that Nardra could be worth taking a bit of a swing at, around about 8-1.
Yeah, 8-1 I can see has been clipped in from 10s as well for Nardra in that 115 at Ascot. Right, onto the 130 at Newmarket. Premier Fillies handicap, 0-105 contest, 3-year-olds and over 10 furlongs. 2-1 the field in this one. Morafor it is who heads away, trying to back up her win from last time out, Dave.
Yeah, and the market suggests that she's probably going to do that. She's sort of 2-to-1 top price, a little bit shorter in a few places. I think she's probably going to solidify at the head of the market. I'm just like a bit surprised, or maybe even pleased, to see Chic Colombine back in handicap company. I think it's probably been, it's been at least a couple of years, but since she's been in a handicap, I would have thought. She won a listed race after that, didn't she? And then sort of the last 18 months, she struggled. She's been running in like better companies. She's been running in Group 3s. The last couple of times she has run in Group 3s, though, she's finished mid-division in each of those. And I think that she's probably maybe turning into a horse now that back in handicap company off of a lower mark might just be finding a bit of form, and will obviously, I say obviously, but should find this a lot easier than she has done in the last few. 3-year-olds have taken 8 of the last 10 renewals in this race, though. I'm unable with the 3-year-olds at Saturday, though, to make a strong enough case that would go against something like Chic Colombine. So I know she's another horse that might take a little bit of a leap of faith to follow. There'll be a few of these across the 10 races this weekend, but she's a 14-to-1 top price, 9 runners. There's 3 places up for grabs. This will be the easiest race that she's been in for a little while. And like I say, those last couple of runs look like she may be somewhere back to form. Colin Keane's riding as well, which I think shows a sign of like intent in here. So at the prices Chic Colombine will do for me.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Colin Keane for George Bowie here, 14-to-1. Chic Colombine for Dave. Andrew, who'd you like?
Yeah, I wouldn't let the age thing put you off with this race, because 3-year-olds made up most of the fields in previous years, and all. So the 4-year-olds have actually done, I think, slightly better than you'd have expected. So yeah, don't let the age put you off. The interesting angle I thought was that if the last 5 renewals, excluding COVID-affected 2020, all the winners have won last time out. And horses who'd won 3 or more times in their careers have won 4 of the past 5 renewals. So I was interested in Chic Colombine, not Shit Colombine. That's something completely different. Who is 2 from 2 in fillies handicaps, and her last 3 British wins have come in the autumn, all in September. I know we're just into October now. 2 of them on soft ground. So I thought I'd take a chance on her at the price. More of 4 as a winner last time out, but because she's by Kingman, so that last time out win came on good to firm ground. So I'd worry about how she'll handle the ground, assuming the forecast rain arrives and Newmarket is probably sort of watered to the hilt anyway. So yeah, just do beware about the ground for the current favourite. She could go on the drift. Mrs. Twig was half interesting as well. She's won 4 times in her career, twice in fillies handicaps at Newmarket, once on the Rolling Mile, once on the July course, aiming high at a squeak as well, I thought. So I'm going to go Chic Colombine, and I would give Mrs. Twig a squeak as well.
At 25-to-1, Mrs. Twig, but the main selection, Chic Colombine. So the lads in agreement there with a 14-to-1 shot as well, and that 130 at Newmarket. Onto the 150 now, back at Ascot, the listed Ruse Stakes for the 3-year-olds and over 5 furlongs. 3-to-1 the field that we've got to go at in this one, Andrew, with 12 runners.
Yeah, it's interesting to start with this one. The horses who prepped in the Group 3 World Trophy in Newbury are 6 from 22 across the last 10 renewals. Back in Moore will achieved a profit of £42.38. We've got a few of them here. Chagrin for Mick Appleby, who was second to First Instinct in that race last time out. And we've also got Cover Up and Kurdos, who ran in that contest. So that's a potentially sort of interesting angle as well, maybe another combination forecast. But I will be throwing a few quid at my old mate Elegant Erin here. She was an eye catcher in the Beverley Bullets 3 runs ago when she was 6 to Chagrin at 100-to-1. She did a lot better than the finishing position suggested, because that was a race for prominent horses, and she did second best of the closers. Now, the horse who did best of those to come from off the pace was First Instinct, one of the those who dead heated for 4th, Kurdos. And Elegant Erin was only half a length behind Kurdos that day. And there's a big discrepancy in the prices. I put her up next time out when she was back from like 9-to-1 into 9-to-4, winning at Beverley in a Class 4 handicap. Did so again, blow my own trumpet here, 33-to-1 into 9-to-2 when I put her up in my column for a Class 2 conditions contest at Beverley. Now, you could dismiss her as a Beverley expert, but what do we know about Beverley? It's a stiff track. and it's not inconceivable that this first visit to Ascot could be right up her street. So Elegant Erin, that stall 12 draw could be handy as well if the stand trail bias comes into play, and I'll go with her as well, because there's a potential of headwind as well, given her sort of patient style. Maybe Elegant Erin 40 to 1 give us a run for our money, despite those good stats for horses who ran in the World Trophy last time.
Against that stat then, but yeah, 50 to 1 I can actually see top price about Elegant Erin here for your old mucker. Definitely sound the trumpet for those wins. And sticking loyal is Mr. Mount with Elegant Erin, a 50 to 1 shot, Dave, in the Roost Stakes.
Yeah, he's gone well there, and he's given a few stats as well that help with my case for the current favourite, Beautiful Diamond, who's top price 3 to 1, bottom price 9 to 4. She was, of course, second in this race last year to was second in the race last year to Rumstar, was it, who'd come from that World Trophy Stakes that Andrew's talked about for those good stats that are in there. I think in this instance, when I look at the race, that I don't think there's as good a field this time round. I do like Shagran, and I've got the horse wrong quite a few times, but I'm not entirely sure that if the rain does get in like it looks like it's going to, that it will really suit Shagran. And then obviously she gets £5 from that horse as well. So I think Beautiful Diamond is definitely the right favourite. Where Andrew's touched on the stand side draw that could be helpful, she's in stall 11 of 12. So fairly boring one in this race, the listed race, where I think that Beautiful Diamond is the right favourite and will probably get some redemption from this time 12 months ago. Andrew did mention Kurdos with lines of form through Elegant Erin as well, and there's lines of form through Beautiful Diamond that mean that Kurdos could run a good race. Just a bit concerned with Clive Cox, hasn't had a winner in 18 days. He's got a 2 to 1 favourite running in 11 minutes. So if that one goes in, then I might be tempted to have a look at Kurdos. But I do think the Beautiful Diamond's the right favourite. The top price 3 to 1 looks fine. If she starts getting under 2 to 1, then maybe I'd leave her alone.
Yeah, so again, price sort of dictating, but yeah, do watch out for that runner in 11 minutes time. You all know by the time you watch this what happened in that race. We currently don't. But moving on to the 205 now at Newmarket, the £150,000 Pastels October auction stakes for the 2-year-olds over 7 furlongs. Half Sovereign it is, who heads away at 15 to 8. But lots of winning form from last time out to be able to go on here, Dave. So who took your eye?
Yeah, not a horse that won last time out, so good little lead in there for you. But half Sovereign definitely sets a decent standard. Lots of experience. Top price was about 2 to 1 at the time of recording, but short in lots of places. I just think for a race of like this nature, 26 runners on Newmarket, where ground's going to tweak a little bit, and there are some unexposed types in here, probably looks tight enough for all that the horse deserves to be at the top of the market. Andrew will probably know maybe a bit better with this sort of stuff, but there's not that many 2-year-old 7 furlong races at Newmarket that would have 20 plus runners in there. But draw wise, it looks like you don't want to be in the top half at all. It looks like it's a really bad thing. When I've done some stat bits on there, I think I can only find 2 winners from 88 runners going back to like early 2000s, but that shows probably how small the sample size is when I'm looking for fields over 20. But horses that are running on any sort of soft ground, so good to soft or soft, running that top half, they're just massive loss makers, which is a roundabout way of saying Jel Pepper that's drawn in stall 15, I'd really fancy if it was drawn in the bottom half. But I don't think the draw, for all that I've said, the stats are against it, really is going to be enough to put me off having a token selection on this horse. I was quite taken with what the horse did last time out, a bit short of room over a shorter trip, had the tongue tie on for the first time. That was the horse's second run after being gelded. Now was beaten a bit by a horse called Song of the Clyde that we'll come on to later, but when this horse made its debut on soft ground, it absolutely slammed that rival. And of course, we talk about the fact that there should be some ease in the ground. So I think Jel Pepper's going to get the conditions. If you also look at the race that the horse ran in after, I think it was Zavaretti the horse was behind. Zavaretti's now rated 118, beat Gastad in that Group 1 last time out. He even had a horse, Brussels, from Aidan O'Brien that was behind, that's now rated 110. So he's mixing it with some good horses. This looks like a nice opportunity for him. And Colin Keane's another one that's been jocked up, or it's another ride for him that he's been jocked up on, which I think looks like a good jockey booking. But like I say, was gelded a couple of starts ago. They've applied the tongue tie on this time for the horse, so maybe there's something in that as well. But I just think on paper and ability, what this horse has done from the first couple of starts would suggest 16 to 1 about this horse in a race where maybe there are not going to be too many worldies in here. Jel Pepper could be that type of worldie, although things haven't gone to plan. Maybe this is a bit of a backwards target because it's worth nearly 100 grand to the winner. So I don't like the draw. That might be enough to cost him the race, but Jel Pepper at 16s will have an each way swing anyway.
And another interesting ride, as you say there, for Colin Keane at the weekend for Ollie Cole this time around, but Jel Pepper at 16-1 for Dave. Andrew, who do you like?
I like Accidental. I was about to say Accidental Agent, but that's the wrong course. So
I hope
like
it's not him.
I like Accidental Bid. This is a once race horse trained by Adrian Nichols, who ran in the race 1 mile first contest won by Be the Standard on his debut. He's 150-1. He's missed a bid at the start, recovered to chase the leader, run green, failed to settle, finished second by 3/4 of a length with 4.5 lengths back to the third. Now, the winner hasn't run since. The third's come out and won, the fourth's won, the fifth's won, and the horse who was 10th of the 11 runners, who was a 200-1 shot, came out and went down narrowly in second at 150-1 at Pontefract next time out. The form's worked out phenomenally well. It's been that performance was backed up by the clock, and he's a general 25-1, 28-1 chance. I think he's got an outstanding chance. Still 21, Accidental Bid for me.
Accidental Bid at 25-1, but with that collateral form line really leading Andrew in there on a big price horse in that 205 at Newmarket. Right, the 225 at Ascot, Group 3, Cumberland Lodge Stakes. The sausage race is back again for the 3-year-olds and over a mile for Hamish. Good old Hamish. Oh, we're getting all of our cliches back again on the show. Hamish is currently heading the way at 2-1. But Andrew, will he actually run in the sausage race this weekend?
Yeah, don't mention sausages. I haven't had my lunch yet. Yeah, good. Interesting race this. I mean, Qareem surprised me this season because I had him down. Remember, like a couple of years ago, I think I tipped him for a race around this time of year, saying he was an autumn horse and he tended to come good, particularly in sort of October. I think I was sort of talking about him potentially for sort of Champions Day, and but he stayed on the go for a lot longer. He actually won in June and July this year, both at York on good to firm ground. Well, I thought he was a spring autumn horse who needed the mud. So he. I haven't been through the running styles yet, which is a bit lazy of me because there's only 5 runners. But if he gets a soft lead, then he'd have a great chance. Hamish needs, almost said Hamish then. Hamish
I know, I keep going to do it now. This is a joke. It's become part of my vocabulary.
Next thing I'll be saying 10-3 instead of 100-30. But yeah, I mean, Hamish maintained his 100% record at Chester last time when winning on ground that was probably a little quicker for him than ideal. He's going to run his usual solid race if he gets his ground. He won this in 2022, but because Qareem's won this for the last 2 years, so I'm going to go for relative youth, which is the 6-year-old against the 9-year-old. So I'm going with Qareem to beat Hamish this time.
The whippersnapper of the field, yeah. Qareem, the 6-year-old gelding in there, taking on Hamish now at 9 years of age. Dave, we've got loads of likeable types in here, haven't we? For although we've got a small field, but some real characters.
Yeah, it's a good race as well to look at, especially this early on, because if you don't see the prices of a race, you can get yourself a bit of an assumption of where you think the value should sit. This one, interestingly enough, the time of recording is 4 minutes before that Clive Cox runner goes off. But you've got Qareem. Qareem's a top price 5-2, but a bottom price 11-8. Hamish is about the same sort of price everywhere, 2-1, but like a general 15-8 poke. But there's just something in it when you look at Qareem's price for the fact, like Andrew said, won it the last 2 years, and the ground will be fine. Seeing top price 5-2 for a horse that's just written up 11-8 somewhere else, I don't know, it makes it difficult to work out who's right at this particular point. The £6, I mean, the few pounds that Hamish gets off it because he hasn't won like a race like this for such a long period of time does make him sit about right where he is at 2-1. But I guess it just depends where Qareem sits. But the more I started to look at it, thinking where do I play this one? I started to look at the cases for Military Academy, Sedinadan and Tenability, and even Tenability that won last time for William Haggish round here. I know it's like a massive step up in class, but they've all got potential chances on paper. So it just made me start to think that maybe Qareem, the 5-2, could look good, but that's just because he's an obvious shortener. But Military Academy in that Chester race last time behind Hamish, you don't want to be doing that at Chester coming from behind. And he also raced the whole time one off of the rail, which again, I don't think is particularly ideal for Chester. So I'm prepared to upgrade that performance in the fact of people might ask, well, how's he possibly going to reverse the form of Hamish? It's because it's not Chester, it's Ascot. I know Military Academy hasn't been here, but I feel like he might be the horse. If he can hang on to the coattails for long enough, he would be able to get past Hamish at a track like this. And also when they ran against each other at Goodwood, which would be, I guess, slightly more similar to Ascot than, well, definitely much more similar to Ascot than a Chester would have been. They ran off a level weights and he only got beaten a neck or half a length. So he gets, I think he gets £6 from Hamish, and because Al Kareem's carrying that penalty, he gets £9 from Al Kareem. They are the older horses. Military Academy is only a 4-year-old. Maybe is starting to come to a bit of form this time of year as well. So I thought Military Academy at 11-2 in a very trappy contest was probably the safest option.
11-2 about Military Academy, which is a good case made as well, taking on those at the head of the market. Onto the 240 now, back at Newmarket, the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes for the 3-year-olds and over a mile. Cinderella's Dream it is who heads away, and we know what a good weekend William Buick, Charlie Appleby and Godolphin had last weekend at Newmarket, Dave. So will that continue here, or are you taking her on?
I don't know, to be honest. It's a tricky one because of the weather watch type stuff. I've been probably anti Cinderella's Dream at points in the season. She got beat first time up, didn't she? And then she won after. I thought it was a weak enough race. Then a couple of starts after, she went and won again, and I think I was poo-pooing her there. So I guess every time I knock her, she goes and wins a race. So I won't knock her too much. I'm not backing her. I don't want her to go and win this one. If there's not too much rain and they, like, I don't know, the ground's okay from Travana, and I mean okay not from a welfare perspective, but I mean in terms of the fact that Cinderella's Dream and Fallen Angel probably want not much slower than good ground, then I think it is between the two of them. If the ground does turn and there's soft in there, or gets even, well, good to soft would probably be enough that they might just about get away with it. But if it starts to turn even softer than that, I think that completely levels this race, and it is a Group 1 and it's a good race on here, but those two are sort of a good £5 clear of everything else. Lady of Spain won that Group 3 at Sandown last time on slow ground, would need that slow ground to be able to bridge the gap, but that could happen. But then that horse is sat in at third favourite, and at this point we don't know how much rain's going to be in there. So I'm a bit stuck with who of the front three in the market could run well, for the fact that I think they all probably could. One that I would take a bit of a wild one at, just for the fact that I don't really care what the ground is for this horse, is Spiritual at 40-1 for the Gosdens and Rab Havlin. It's a horse that in the past she's always been short of running. Well, she's always been short of running a Group 1 for starters. She's been borderline a Group 4. She's running Group 3s and listed racing. She was a bit more pleasing last time out, for all that she hasn't been informed for a little while. And I just think if the conditions do switch a little bit, I just think 40-1 looks massive. She might be able to nab some sort of place. And in the fact that I'm talking about some of those at the front of the market, Cinderella's Dream, Fallen Angel, Lady of Spain, the ground goes one way, it's not going to suit some of them. If the ground goes the other way, it's not going to suit a couple of others. Whereas Spiritual, I'd be fine to have a token ticket on at the price, regardless of the ground.
40-1 as well, Spiritual. Yeah, who won't mind whichever ground conditions turn up. Andrew, who'd you like in the Group 1?
Not Cinderella's Dream because of the ground concerns if the forecast rain does turn up. Fallen Angel, I'm not so concerned about the ground. Hasn't really had many opportunities on a soft surface. That narrow listed second, albeit as 2-year-olds, on her second career start, came on officially soft ground, and Shawari and Soprano were both subsequently rated 100 plus. That was a reasonable effort. I don't think it was as soft as advertised when she was fourth, beaten favourite at Longchamp last October, and being by too darn hot. Certainly not going to be a problem with the ground, and her dam as well. Agnes Stewart acted on it, so I thought Fallen Angel at the head of the market. I was quite interested in Cathedral though. I know this one was waiting for soft ground, and it was pulled out on soft ground. But in terms of breeding, another too darn hot. I thought it was what she needed, and she went from Rafe Beckett to Kevin Philippon de Foy, obviously trained by Ammo Racing, and wasn't beaten far behind Fallen Angel last time out at Leopardstown, when kept trying to come from a little bit further back than the winner, perhaps on ground that was a bit lively. So I would sort of go with that form again and go sort of Fallen Angel and Cathedral. So I'll probably back both and do the forecast as well. Yeah,
that form line factoring in again there. I'm so pleased you said about Cathedral though, because she has been my cliff horse, and I know I'm going to follow her in again. 20-1, I can't not. So I'm hoping to go with her again, Andrew.
Oh, did forget to mention my old friend Cheshire Dancer, who I tend to sort of put up each way whenever she runs. But she's got some good form here. That 20 to 1/3 to Misinformation in the Kensington Palace Stakes, but that was on good to firm. And I do worry if it does become genuinely good to soft or softer, whether she'll handle it. So yeah, Cheshire Dancer would be my each way play on good ground, but we're probably not going to get it.
Yeah, like I say, just bear in mind with the ground there, but 20 to 1 Cheshire Dance, current price at the time of recording. Cathedral at 20, Sunfall and Angel at 5 to 2. Onto the 3 o'clock at Ascot for Group 3 Bengoff Stakes for the 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs. So we do have an open affair in this one, where it is 5 to 1 the field, Mr. Mount. So how are you playing it?
I'm just noticing the 225 Nottingham result. The Clive Cox horse got beat. I didn't watch the race.
Oh no!
I saw the favourite one, the James Tate horse.
Live updates. There you go.
Yeah, I thought the Bengoff was a lot harder. The interesting angle of this is how well pace horses have done over the years. Just backing the two horses who come out top on Proform's pace ratings, i.e. those likeliest to make the running, has been a good angle, and that would obviously bring in Quinault stepping back in trip, but also coming back in class after contesting Group 1 and Group 2 contests on his last 3 starts. And Apollo 1 as well, who poor old Matty was one of many seconds for him in September when running a blinder behind Eternal Sunshine in the Portland. But again, at the moment, the weather's saying sort of headwind of gusting up to 47 miles per hour on Saturday. So it's a case of watch the weather, because I certainly wouldn't want to be backing that pair if the wind was into their faces, so keep an eye on that. So I'm going to play my get out of jail free card and just sit this one out for the moment. It'll be very boring.
You are allowed. I feel like you haven't played a get out of jail free card for a number of weeks, if not months. Definitely not when I've been here anyway. So yeah, you'll definitely allow it for this one when it's 5 to 1 the field. Dave, you going to play in it?
I'll have a go, yeah, because I think Andrew's on the hopefully on the right lines with, like, Apollo 1 did take this race 12 months ago. It's going to be similar conditions. That win, the win last year came after a second in the Portland, which was a part of the case that Matty made, and a very good case for the Portland this time round. Horse was off a pound lower mark, ran, as far as I'm concerned, up to about the same sort of standard. And although there is a bit of depth in this race, there's lots of horses that are rated nice numbers in here. It doesn't particularly look like a much harder race than last year. And if the ground does ease up a little bit, it's going to be pretty much the same as the horse running last year, bar that headwind that Andrew's talked about, which personally I do look at what's going on with the windy type stuff, and I will pay attention to it, but I feel like the jockeys should know what they're doing with those bits as well, so maybe they might get a bit of cover and things in there. So I would still side with Apollo 1. 13 to 2 top price looks fine and fair for me in a race that I think he's been trained for. We know he runs well at this time of year, and it could just be copy and paste from 12 months ago.
There you go. I wonder if Massey will be keeping him on side as well after that Portland narrow defeat at 12 to 1. So we'll have to catch Massey's column to see if he's sticking loyal as well. Now we're going to head to Redcar for the one and only time on Saturday for us for the 320, the 2-year-old trophy listed contest for the 2-year-olds over 6 furlongs. 5 to 2 the field in this one. Song of the Clyde it is who heads away. So not an easy one to be solving by any means, Dave.
No, and I mentioned Song of the Clyde earlier. He's got that form in and around with Jel Pepper. So from that big draw, it'll be kind of interesting to see what he does. But he got slammed by Jel Pepper on soft ground at the start of the season, beat him last time out when there might have been excuses. So I don't think it'll be literal form franking. But he finds himself at the head of the market. Nice, big, high rating. I love the conditions of this race as well. It's crazy because the weight to be carried by each horse shall be determined by the median price of its sire's yearling sold at the main public auction sales held in Europe and North America in 2024. It's crazy.
That's great fun.
It's just mad. But the good thing with stuff like that is you can get a bit of a flying horse that's, you can have the best bred horse that doesn't necessarily turn into the best horse, or you can have one that's not been as well bred that can turn into quite a nice type. And I think Argentine Tango is that nice horse that might not necessarily be the best bred because of those conditions, gets in this race off of 8 stone 3. That's 13 pounds better than the favourite Song of the Clyde. A horse that David Allen's been riding, but I don't think he can do this weight. Like 8 stone 9's the lowest he's got down to. So to get an extra £6 for all that the horse looks like he's got a phenomenal chance. that just can't get on there. So I think they just have to put a jockey on that can do the weight. But you look at some of the form that this horse has got at the start of the season, and I know that 2-year-olds can potentially taper off, but just behind Venetian Sun, who's a phenomenal horse, on a couple of occasions, was only just behind Lady Imam as well, and has been mixing it in group company for her last 5 starts after she landed a listed spoils the time before that. The rain might not necessarily help her chance here. It looks like the forecast is a little bit lighter up in Redcar, but then the ground is currently already a little bit easier. So that would be a slight little concern. But on the conditions of this and on paper of what this horse has achieved, the horse looks like they're absolutely thrown in. And this would be one of those types of horses where it's a race you could never really get too excited about. But seeing this horse priced at 8 and 9 to 1 looks massive when there's 4 or 5 places up for grabs. So I'd quite strongly fancy this horse, but that's always tempered with the conditions of a race. So as much as this might be a strong bet in a race like this, I'd never be going that crazy in the first place anyway. But pretty confident that the horse is overpriced at least.
Yeah, like I say, then overpriced as well. But those conditions are mental for this race. I am more fool of me for not going into them properly. But to be honest, I would never have remembered that, let alone be able to actually put that to any good use by comparing it to the horse's profile. So well done to you, Dave, for doing that. Andrew, 2-year-old trophy, who wins?
Yeah, normally what you need here is a draw installed 10 or lower and a recent run within the past 28 days, although that doesn't rule many of the market principles out. The one I was leaning towards was Arduous Invicta, who ran a blinder against the draw and pace bias, went 8 to 20 to Sue Perfect, I should say, in the Newmarket sales race in late August. Won at Musselburgh next time, 9 to 1 into 13 to 8 or something daft like that. And then next time out, upped in grade to listed company at Ayr and ran 3rd at 40 to 1 when meeting trouble in running. Now the wind is on, if they were racing today or tomorrow on Friday, you'd have a tailwind of up to 50 miles an hour at Redcar, which would help front runners even more than a track that already favours such running styles. But it looks at the moment as though by lunchtime on Saturday that's going to be a crosswind. So do keep an eye on that though, because if there's a strong tailwind, I'd worry that Arduous Invicta would perhaps be ridden patiently again. That might not be ideal, but I'll make of the token selection at this stage.
At 15 to 2 as well, Arduous Invicta, it is for that 320 at Redcar. Right, on to the 335 now at Ascot, the Challenge Cup Heritage Handicap for the 3-year-olds and over 7 furlongs. 18 runners to go at in this one. 9 to 2 the field. Native Warrior it is who heads away, Andrew. So who wins?
Yeah, some good stats with this. 7 of the last 10 winners were ridden patiently. Last time out winners, 0 from 27 in the past 10 years. And horses who prepped at Ascot, 0 from 32. Now, what did Native Warrior do last time out? He won, and he won at Ascot, which doesn't count against him. Great Acclaim chased him home. That one's second favourite. The third favourite, Hickory, was a winner at Ascot last time. The fourth favourite, Rami, won last time out. So Thunder Roar is a previous winner. I do sort of worry about leaving out Thunder Roar from calculations, given his fine record at this time of year. This is something we've touched on previously. His last 4 wins have come in late September or October, and he does run this track well. So yeah, Thunder Roar, given his patient style, would have to be considered here. Acadian Thunder, it's another frustrating so-and-so who tends to sort of get backed into 7 to 2 favouritism and finish 19th, and then go off at 25 to 1 and finish second. So he's a son of our old mate Night Thunder, as the name suggests, and he could run a race here. But yeah, it's another one where I need to do more work on what sort of draw and weather conditions, ground conditions are known. But for the purpose of this video, I'll go Thunder Roar each way, despite the fact that he won last time out, just given his fantastic record in the autumn. Likes soft ground, and there's another Night of Thunder.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Which we just love. What I do anyway. 14 to 1 then about Thunder Roar, despite that last time out win, that his record at this time of year for Andrew. Dave.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on the stats in this race because they don't suit the narrative of this one, so I'll forget them.
Exactly what I did.
I thought Native Warrior last time was obviously was very well back, wasn't he, when he went and won, but won like a good thing as well. And again, when the money's down and they go and win like that, you can understand it. But even though the horse has gone up £8, I think the horse has got a massive chance of going and winning again. It ran behind Mickley, didn't he, last season, where he was first in the group, was just potentially on the wrong side, was like a very good performance. Loves it at Ascot. So yeah, like at the price that the horse is, I wouldn't even think maybe it's an each way swing, although that might be the sensible way to play it. I think I'd have a win dart on Native Warrior, but given the fact that he has been hiked up, and with Andrew mentioned the stat type stuff, which I've had a little nose at, it does temper enthusiasm of having it as a sole selection when we've got 18 runners in a decent handicap. The one that I would throw a couple of quid at each way in the race as well, so Native Warrior is definitely going to be a win dart, would be Puro Sangue again. Because, I mean, he's getting me some of my money back when he keeps placing, but there's been times when I've made real solid cases for this horse. He was one that I really fancied for Royal Ascot when we did our horses to follow their stuff, and then the ground just completely went against him there. It was good to firm. I know that's a case of what it could have been, but I still thought he ran a pretty decent race. Then when he ran at Goodwood after, he was well backed. Will Buick was on board and he ran terribly, but the ground, I don't know whether it was soft enough or whether it was just like an afterthought type race, I don't know. But then he's run really well on his last 3 occasions, only beaten 3 lengths behind Darkness when he was 6th at Goodwood again, went to 6.5 furlongs after that, was only beaten a couple of lengths, 6th again of 13. Then last time out at Erin in the cheap pieces was 4th and was hammered in the betting, was I think 20s or something like that in the market, and went off as 5-1 favourite. Maybe looked a little bit like he could still be held off of his mark, but he's rated 98 now. He's been rated much higher than that. I think he does like it rounder. You think 12 months ago we talked about Apollo 1 winning the race that I think hopefully he's going to win again this time around. Puro Sangue was running in that group race, so potentially could find this a bit easier. And although the OG Murphy's come off, that was a bit of a case that I made for him the time after when he ran at Ascot, that he seemed to be a horse that was finding a bit of extra trouble when OG Murphy's been riding him. And I'm not saying he was to blame last time out, but I don't mind the fact that Silvestre de Souza takes the ride rather than it being a familiar face. So I thought Puro Sangue at a big price was probably an obvious shortener, but also a horse that might have a chance of making the frame or possibly winning.
I'm so pleased you said this, because literally just before we started recording, I was running my own trends against this race and Puro Sangue came out on top. So I was really, really pleased that you also agree with an 18-1 shot here. And I just say in the first time cheap pieces, last time out at Air, I thought that was a really fair effort from him. And he had the intertwining form line, of course, with the runner-up Desert Falcon from the previous run at Doncaster as well. So that was off for marker 98. He's now down £2, which puts him into that perfect bracket that I have for the ratings band for this contest as well. I like his draw in 7 from what we've seen of previous years. 2 weeks since we last saw him, another positive. And if he's ridden that bit more prominently again, even though it's over the 7 furlongs, but when you've got SDS in the saddle, you're probably going to be ridden pretty prominently. That I thought Puro Sangue also was overpriced at 18-1. So sorry for putting the mockers on you there, Dave. Right, on to our final scheduled race at Newmarket, the 350 Premier Fillies Handicap 0-105 for the 3-year-olds and over a mile. For Hot Flame it is, who heads away at 11-4, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the work on this one. Looks like they might have taken it off the schedule, but we'll give the viewers this is the anything from anywhere else section anyway. There's a few horses in here that I think are going to be definitely ahead of their mark. Orionis is one of those horses, but I also think that the favourite at the time of recording, Hot Flame, is another horse that's going to be well ahead of their mark. That second one that I mentioned there, Hot Flame, less exposed. She doesn't require headgear, which is what's happened with Orionis to sort of pick up and show some good class last time out. So possibly could be straightforward. The pair of those at the front, when they're sort of top price, maybe 3-1, playing the pair at even money, I don't think I'd be interested in doing that, because I don't know. I think there's a few horses that could be ahead of their mark. I did look at trainers in this as well, because William Haggis has won this a couple of times, but he's had loads beaten in it as well. He always seems to target horses of this. The Gosdens don't target so many. I think they've only had one runner in the last 6 years, but was a well-beaten favourite. Go back to the 7th year, they had another horse that was absolutely smashed in here. So I'm not saying every race needs to be targeted by a trainer, but it did temper my enthusiasm on the front of them at the market. But when I was watching what Orionis did last time out, also what Hot Flame did last time out, I saw the horse that ran in behind, and then I remember that horse ran behind Miss Wong and was much further behind Miss Wong when that horse ran last time out. She looked pretty good at the finish last time out. That was on soft ground. It was over 1 mile 3.5. This is over 1 mile 4. So I thought there was a bit of a price discrepancy with the top price Miss Wong at 15-2, and then Hot Flame as sort of a 5-2 or 11-4 poke. But there was a big discrepancy between the two of those. For all that, I think Hot Flame's miles ahead of her mark. I think Orionis is probably ahead of her mark. I think Miss Wong might just be as well. So she would be the selection at the prices. 8 runners, 3 places up for grabs.
15-2. Fair play to you for still covering this race here, because you are completely correct. They have now taken this off the ITV schedule. They must have only done that last minute, because I only racked this up last night, the schedule. So must have been a last minute call for the part-timers at ITV that are. Andrew, you don't have to do this race, but just out of interest, we've got selection.
I did look at this as well, and so there's been 9 previous runnings of this race. 8 of them have been won by a filly who was in the top 3 in a handicap of class 2, 3 or 4 level last time out. That gives us a short list of Hot Flame, Aramis, Alpine Oasis and Miss Wong. Now, like Dave, I was coming down on the side of Miss Wong, given the soft ground win at Yarmouth last time out, and again, a lot depends on the running style as well, and where the wind is, because Miss Wong likely to come from off the pace, whereas Hot Flame, who made all at Haydock last time, is likely to make the running again. That one could be vulnerable if she doesn't lead, because she did race keenly under restraint when beaten on her second start as the 7-4 favourite. So at the prices, I too will go with Miss Wong.
There you go then. Oh, glad we covered this race after all. At 15-2, agreement for the lads there about Miss Wong in that 350 at Newmarket, which will not be on ITV. Right, Andrew, I'll go back to you, please. Anything from anywhere else?
Yeah, I did look at the 356 at Redcar, the listed Geesborough Stakes, because I thought that was on TV as well. But the interesting one there is Gray's Monument, last year's winner, who wouldn't be an obvious one looking at form figures this year. I think it's 0.80, but does come good at this time of year. If you just back this one from September until December, 5 wins from 10 starts, profit of £25.83. So I'm hoping this one can bounce back to winning ways at the time of year where he normally goes so well. There's sort of territories as well. He won't mind if it's good to soft or softer.
And that is number 356 at Redcar. Dave, anything from anywhere else?
No, I didn't get time. And even with the ARC draw coming out, I haven't had a real chance to go back through there, but there's been some howling draws for the Japanese. We've got a couple of horses that got massive chance, didn't they? And they're out right on the wings. So need to do some work on that for the French stuff. But yeah, some good racing coming up this weekend.
Yeah, definitely make sure to head to the lads' columns for any Longchamp chat this weekend. But I know I saw some funny memes actually on X about that yesterday. So when facing adversity, you just know that social media will pull it out of the bag, at least anyway. Not that that will be any sort of way to ease it for the Japanese by any means. Dave, we'll go back to you, please, for your nap.
Oh, thanks for that. This is a real hard week. I'm trying to use the same ethos as last week with Bo Echo, a horse that I'd have no excuses for, but I'd have a level of excuse for every single horse in there. I would probably say the one that I don't, which we're using as the method for a nap, probably the way that everyone should do it. I think Military Academy in the Cumberland Lodge Stakes, although he's got to step up a little bit given the weight allowance he's going to get from the couple of main rivals in there. I think Military Academy would be the best bet of my selections this week.
Military Academy in the sausage race it is for Dave. Andrew, your nap.
205 Newmarket, the sales race. I'm going with Accidental Bid. Take that 20-1 and bigger. We'll be much shorter on the day.
Wow, okay. Wait to see him shorten up then. But a big prize nap for Andrew this weekend. So looking forward to this. And as I said previously, make sure to head to the lads' columns to get any further selections, reflections, changes, or anything else there on the website. But lads, thank you so much for all of your hard work as per usual. Big thank you to you for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend, and we'll speak to you again next week.